Hey everybody, welcome to the Not Move Podcast Hockey Show in the Wickets. As always, it is me and my favorite NMP member, A Train. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Good, sir. Ready for all this playoff hockey, man. That's why I'm like, we got to get through this episode, dude. I'm really into this game, man.
Yeah, we will get to that game that is happening right now, but quick. But I notice somebody's got some swag going right now.
Yep. Look at this.
Oh man.
Straight from the merch shop, right? Pick this bad boy up. And we don't our prices on our clothing, it's not only super good quality, but like our prices aren't through the roof. I was talking to other people that have a podcast, and dude, they sell like their shirts like this for like $80. And their hats are like, $60, something crazy. We're not even close to that. So,
Nope.
super, super nice quality. Super happy with the swag I just picked up from our merch
I like
shop.
it too. That hat's looking nice.
It's nice. Yep.
Well, man, let's break right into it. We can talk about the swag and how awesome it is later as well, because of course we'll drop some hints as to maybe some new stuff that we got. But let's start with first series that we wanted to talk about today: Carolina and Ottawa. Right now, Carolina's up 2-0 in that series, but the last game got a little bit chippier, didn't it?
Yeah, so I mean, in game one, the defense for the Hurricanes really showed out. Securing a shutout to open the series. I mean, whenever you can start a series with a shutout, you're already going to be on top. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and everybody a little bit questioning Brindamore at first for putting Anderson in, but Brindamore has a habit of letting the veterans go ahead first. And hey, he proved Brindamore's decision right, didn't he?
Yep, and that game too, man. That was a high tension battle that went into double overtime, and man, that was just a fun game to watch. And you know, they secured the game winner to give Carolina that 2-0 cushion. But man, that game too was really damn close, and Ottawa really fought hard in that game.
Yeah, Ottawa did fight hard. And now that they're going to swing the game back to Canada, I think that's going to give them a lot of energy going into game three. And maybe they can carry over that good performance from game two to get a win and hopefully make the series a little bit more evened up. But Carolina, hey, look who's showing up, Stank Oven again, huh? He's a nice little flamer when it comes to the playoff time.
Right. I think the biggest problem with Ottawa right now has been discipline. I think they're just not ready for the bright lights right now, and I'm seeing a lack of discipline from them. One major thing that I noticed when I was breaking down some of the statistics from these last two games is Brady Brady Kachuk. Man, he's already logged 9 penalty minutes.
Yep,
He's already
I
been in the
saw that
penalty.
too.
Yeah, 9 minutes already in the penalty box, and you're one of the better players. Like, can't be having that. That to me, that's a lack of discipline, Graham.
I agree. That's why I didn't like how they started off the first game. Oh, Captain, let's see them fight right off the bat. How'd that end up for you? That ended up with you being in the box away from high productive hockey to start the game right off.
Yep. Carolina's been handed six power play opportunities, Graham, including two 5-on-3 advantages. Like, you're just putting yourself in a hole at this point. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, it's just a lack of discipline all around. And
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 here's
to
the, here's the
me,
cr-
go ahead, Graham.
I was gonna say here's the crazy part. All those power play chances,
Mm-hmm.
one power play goal, and not for lack of shots either.
No. And Stutzel's got to step up, man. Like, the game's tomorrow. Like, this guy's got to show out, bro. He's one of their your best players, and he's been invisible. I haven't really seen him like take over one of these two games yet. So he's really gonna have to step up tomorrow.
Yeah, it looks like it's an effort as a whole on the Senators too, doesn't it? It's not just Kachuk, just Stutzel. All of them seem like they need that little oomph in their step that they haven't quite had.
Yeah, again, that's when I'm looking at this series, it's just a lack of discipline. We can't they You're not going to beat this Carolina team making stupid penalties and not showing up game to game. Then that's really what I've seen is a lack of discipline and just not showing up.
Yeah, and also, hey, once again, I want to give kudos to Freddie Anderson getting his first shutout in the playoffs. What a heck of a first game for him. Nice showing in the second game. So it's always nice to see older goaltenders, find that spot where they're going to produce. But I'm going to look at this round right now and give him his props. Hopefully, he keeps it up. But who knows? This next game, like you said, that might change the tide of the series because I know the next series that we are going to talk about is my team. I was
Yeah.
falling behind 2-0 at home against the Flyers with a shutout happening. The second game, just bad hockey being played. I'll let you take this first because I know what I think needs to change, but I'm interested to see someone from another hockey perspective that's not in my area.
I mean, what else can we say? The Flyers stole 2 games in Pittsburgh, and that was the biggest shocker to me so far, is for them to just take 2 games from you guys right off the rip. They're playing a good structured defensive game against you guys. They've capitalized on late opportunities. They've been good close games, but like, it's just it's really hard to pinpoint what's going on. I'm happy to see you guys are playing good tonight. Game two, the Flyers goalie was on fire, man. I really thought that he played an extremely good game. I was waiting for you guys to get one on him, and you guys just didn't. Game two, I guess same thing happened, right? A dominant defensive
Yeah.
performance. Philly shut down Crosby, and you guys have some top tier lines, and they shut that down too. So that was my biggest takeaway: is the Flyers just like taking away you guys' top lines and making Crosby a non-factor. Just got to see what happens from here, Graham. I hope the best for you, man. But a 2-0 hole, like this is a must win tonight, right?
Yeah, this is a must win tonight. I believe in the Penguins history, they've been behind 2-0 in 13 or 14 series all time. And I believe out of those 13 or 14 series, it's only four or five times that they've ever come back. Two of those I know for sure being in the 2000s era, right?
Yep.
So, any team doesn't have a really good chance of coming out of a 2-0 hole, especially when you give up home ice like that. One thing I noticed was I didn't think Vladar was so good the last game as much as their shot chances weren't as good as they should have been. I think they muffed on a lot of open shot opportunities, the Penguins, meaning. I did not like to also the first game was a wash by the Flyers. The Penguins got 2 goals, but they played one good period. And the Flyers, I have to say, I said this too to you, even on air. I like Porter Martone.
Man,
I
he's a great player. What is he,
oh
19 years old? What is he, 19?
yeah,
Yeah, dude, the
yeah.
guy's
And
incredible, huh?
he's part of why this draft that recently happened with Matt Schaefer and all that, it's starting to shape up and look really nice, isn't it?
Not a
Porter
bad draft,
Martone.
huh? Yeah,
Oh man, I like
yeah.
Porter Martone, and I hate to like him because he's a Philadelphia Flyer, but I can't deny watching how talented he is and how he's carried this over from the last what was it 9 or 10 games of the regular season. He got called up.
Yeah, and we're drawing attention. I was talking to people on these live forums, obviously on TikTok lives and stuff, and his name's being mentioned now. I didn't hear any casual fan talk about him up until now, and now people are starting to figure out what this guy's name is and figuring out he's a pretty damn good player.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Porter Martone. Like I said, I watched him in juniors. I liked what I saw, and kind of cringed when I saw the Flyers get him in last year's draft because I was like, I didn't think that he would fall to them quite where he did, but he's showing up. But one thing too, the Penguins need to do is they need to play better, other than the top six players. The older guys, also Crosby and Malkin, need to stop falling for that younger guy agitation stuff.
Yeah,
That's day one stuff that they should be a little bit better. I get the rivalry, right? Obviously, rivalry. More than anyone how much I dislike the Flyers, but
right.
they have to be better mentally prepared. And Eric Carlson needs to show up.
Yeah, facts. Big facts
Uh,
on that one.
I'm really disappointed in the first 2 games after playing so well all year, after the previous season not being up to where his standards or the Penguins thought he would be. Coming into these first 2 playoff games, I thought he would be maybe a shot of energy because he wants to be in the playoffs. Man,
All right,
I,
so current score, Graham. I know Malkin scored, right?
yeah, 1-0 it was on the power play from Crosby and Rust.
Okay, yep. Just wondering if anything's changed in that. That's why I'm like, we got to get through this episode. I really want to watch this game.
Yeah, right. So, but no, right now we'll keep it at 1-0. But as far as I'm concerned, from what I've saw, I think the Flyers might take this one, possibly in 5 games in 6. I hope the Penguins give them a run and still take it back. But it's hard to come out of a 2-0 hole no matter who you are.
Facts. Yeah, and that Hathaway cat's been playing good too for the Flyers.
Yeah, that pains me as well. They've got a good young team. You know, Rick Tocchet, I like him as a coach. I respect him.
Right.
He knows what to do with these young guys, and kudos to him for bringing it together, especially after the Olympic break, to get them to this position.
Yeah, who would have thought? You interview a Flyers great, and you would end up playing him in the playoffs, and they're taking a 2-0 lead on you guys. I bet you're like, oh my god.
You know, I'm starting to think that Mr. Prop knew what he was doing here. He was trying to get out there to all the Pittsburgh Penguins influencers, interviewers, all that. And I respect you for it, Mr. Prop. Got to say, it wasn't as quite bad of a hatchet job as Hextall coming to work as a sleeper agent and destroying us from inside, but props to you, sir.
Catch that
So,
interview. That was a great interview, by the way,
well,
Graham.
thank you. Thank you. Catch all the interviews from Not Move, guys. Millions. Robert Nolan, JB. JB did Baldy. That's
Yeah,
insane. JB did Baldy. He got to speak with Baldy, Brian
yeah.
Baldinger. So, uh, incredible stuff. Next series, Edmonton and Anaheim. One game so far we've only got to see. We get to catch another one tonight at 10 p.m. I didn't know what to think of this first game, A Train. I kind of thought it was like, okay, Anaheim's got their guys back. Drysdale's back. You know, it's McDavid. But the Ducks agitated them a little bit. And I think I saw a little bit of a window. If the Ducks continue playing better, they could steal a win here.
Yeah, I mean, watching the early part of that game, they really took Connor McDavid out of that game. Connor McDavid didn't get hot until later. My big takeaway from this game, it was a close game, but the difference was the Ducks' youth showed early, right? And the
Yeah.
Oilers' depth and power play proved to be the difference. Leo Carlson, Troy Terry, both were impressive in that first game. To me, looking at this team, right? Uh, Draisaitl is the wild card here if he returns, right? And this is for a deep run, right? They're going to need Leon back, right, for a deep run. But as for right now, he's not really part of this picture. But the Ducks goaltending has to play outstanding from here on out. That Oilers, power play is nasty. And you cannot give them that man advantage because they're going to take full control of it.
Oh yeah, and especially the last game, that first game, who took advantage on the power play for the Oilers? You
Hmm.
see right away they weren't able to get anything across yet, but oh, they get the puck. Everybody's on edge. They're skating on their
Right.
heels because they're so skilled. They're so skilled up front. I think what I'd noticed about the Ducks, like you said, Troy Terry, he
Yeah.
really did a great job, and that seems to be his forte is playing pressure situations for this team, but. Uh, I want to see more from Leo Carlson. I know he got a goal and an assist, but I want to see
Right.
him more active on the other end of the ice, on the defensive end. I think he could give those guys a little bit of trouble with his speed.
Yeah. And it's hard because we're nitpicking game one. We'll know a little bit more after the play again, So we can only pick apart so much in one game.
Yeah, and I gotta say, for Dreisaitl's first return, being back for that first game, having two assists. But what impressed me is they were able to keep him at 20, basically his same ice time, 22 minutes.
Yeah.
So if they continue that pace with him and McDavid, the Oilers might be backing it to skate on through to the second round. I hope the Ducks make it a good, interesting series.
And that's why I think the health is makes him the wild card. If they have him as a wild card in their back pocket, this is a dangerous team.
Yeah, it is, and I think the Oilers are going to pull it out. Depending on
Yeah.
tonight, if I see something fiery from the Ducks that we haven't, maybe Quinville gets something out of them.
Right.
Maybe he's known to do that. So especially we've seen what he's done in the past, but maybe there's something here that Quinville can drag out of his team because look at the players they have. You know how much I like Chris Kreider as a playoff guy and also as
Facts.
just a mentor in general so far to these young Ducks players. He's done a great job. But I'm not totally convinced they're out of this. We'll see how they play tonight. Once again, that game is at 10 o'clock.
Yep.
Ducks Oilers game two. So here's one we do have two games in. Series is tied 1-1, and it's the Vegas Golden Knights and the Utah Mammoth. I loved what I saw of the Utah Mammoth in game two.
Yeah. I want to start with game one. Obviously, Vegas flexed its veteran muscles, right? They
Yeah.
rallied in the third period, and I'm like, oh shit, here we go. Vegas is going to be Jake's Vegas Golden Knights are going to be a problem here again. Mark Stone was very impressive when he tied the game, and Nick Dowd with the go-ahead goal. I'm like, man, Vegas might be a damn good team. And Jake keeps telling me, he's like, oh, I'm going to see you in the Western Conference Finals. I'm like, well, we will see, Jake. I'm like, not so fast. And then, sure enough, we get game two, right? We get that big bounce back game from Utah, right? Um, you
Right.
know, they played gritty and still home ice advantage. Like, given how tight these games have been, it's looking like a 7-game series. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Uh, one thing I love is that the first game, like you said, Vegas showed better leadership. Torts doing his thing, coaching them to a victory. Second game, that first goal that they had, I was like, okay, Vegas might have this in hand. When
Right.
I saw Stowe put that in on the power play, I was like, oh man, this might be a Vegas route. Man, Mackenzie Weegar gets involved, Yamamoto to Gunther gets involved, and then my boy, Pittsburgh hockey, Logan Cooley, two
Cooley.
goals in 2 games. I'm loving what I'm seeing from this man.
Yo, man, he might have to be in that player profile, man. I like what I see.
I'm a huge Logan Cooley fan, obviously, from being a Pittsburgh native and seeing him grow up in front of our eyes. But I was, I like the lineup that Utah is doing here. I like the youth that they have. I like
Yeah.
the depth that they have. I especially like the fact that their big guns have finally showed up. Because what did you and I say? We were concerned with the big names at the end of the year not scoring as much.
Yep. And I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Utah has the momentum now. Taking that game too, and now it shifts to the Delta Center, right? And
Yeah.
I feel like Utah took a little bit of that momentum. You know what I mean? To still home ice advantage back. I mean, that's big. I'd be worried if I was Jake and these Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah, I have to say the crowd in Utah the last few games, they're rowdy, man.
Aren't they?
I like them a lot. They're rowdy. They got into the last few home games leading into the playoffs that I was watching. Um, I like what Utah's bringing, and I'm rooting for him just because I like Logan Cooley. No offense out there to our buddy Jake or anything, but I got to root for the hometown guy in this case, and also Ian Cole, who
Yeah.
really has been getting that back end going. If anybody's noticing for Utah, Ian Cole's doing a great job. Former
Right.
Pittsburgh Penguins, Stanley Cup winner with the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Right.
I like what I'm seeing from him. I don't know, A Train. This might be a
Seven
lot longer
games.
than we expected.
This is gonna be a nasty dogfight. This is gonna be a nasty dogfight. I can't wait to talk to Jake about it. I'm gonna be like, so what do you think?
I know. And it's going to be interesting to see too, because the next game that we have with them is coming up tomorrow, I believe. And
Yep.
yeah, that's tomorrow. That's going to be a 9:30 Eastern game. Uh, I'm so excited for that game. I can't believe
Good.
I'm so excited. Who thought you and I would ever sit there and be like, we're excited to see a Utah Mammoth versus a Vegas Golden Knights game?
Yeah, and like I said, I'm worried for Vegas, man. Utah's gonna give them a fight, man. This is going 7.
It is. I'm pumped. This is great so far for the playoffs. We'll get into it with the next 4 games after this commercial break that we take. But so far, the playoffs are living up to everything that we've wanted in the first few games. We're gonna go ahead and hit this commercial, guys. Stick with us. We're gonna be right back and cover the rest of the 4 series.
The Not Move podcast is fueled by Dubby Energy. Smooth, jitter-free focus, and flavors that slap. Mango, berry, watermelon. Whatever gets you locked in, they've got it. Hit up Dubby.gg, use promo code Not Moved, and snag 10% off your order. Stay not moved, stay energized.
Number Friday nights, 9 Eastern. It's the Dribble NBA edition on the Not Move podcast. We break down the week, the trades, the highlights, everything around the league. Tap in, chop it up with us, and get the takes that move the game forward. Stay not moved.
The Not Moved podcast drop is here. Snapbacks, hoodies, mugs, stickers, totes, everything you need to rep the convo everywhere you go. Limited run, unlimited style. Tap the link, fill the cart, and
tap into the Not Move podcast every Friday night at 8 Eastern.
We're bringing the scrap sheet, UFC edition.
Every jab, every takedown, every headline.
All the fights, all the drama, all the picks, right here.
Watch live on YouTube or listen anywhere you get your podcasts. Hit follow, hit subscribe.
And stay not moved.
Need some new not move drip? The In the Wickets hoodie just dropped. Super soft fleece, heavyweight feel, and the official NMP patch on the sleeve. Tap add to cart, check out, and let us handle the rest. In a couple days, it shows up at your door, ready to rock. Rep the podcast from the couch to the tip.
Every Thursday night, the Not Move podcast drops a new episode of
In the Wickets,
our deep dive on everything around the NHL.
We break down the plays, the trades, the stats, and the stories that matter.
Plus a few hot takes along the way.
Join us live at 8 p.m. Eastern, or catch it on your favorite podcast app right after.
Same energy, same on.
Tuesday nights just got louder. Ringside Rewind is live every week, 9 Eastern.
We're breaking down Raw, SmackDown, and everything leading into the weekend. If it happens between the ropes, we're talking about it.
Deep dives, hot takes, and a few surprise
and
replays.
a whole lot of arguing.
Yeah, but the good kind.
Ringside
the Orphan Elimination Chamber tee just dropped. Fresh out the box. Look at this.
That print is nasty. Chain link O, silver hit. It's tough.
It's soft too, y'all. Fits right. Little drip for the Elimination Chamber weekend.
We rocking these all season.
If you're part of the Not Move fam, you already know.
Jump on it before it's
Grab
gone.
yours now at Not Move Shop.
Episode of the Not Move podcast is brought to you by the MLB Shop. They have every team's gear, from classic caps to World Baseball Classic hoodies, all official and all ready for game day. Tap the link in our bio to head straight to the shop and snag your favorite merch.
The drop is here. NMP gear built for every day and game day. Hoodies, mugs, and the Coach Common jersey in bold gold. Rep the movement. Feel the energy. Shop new arrivals.
If you're craving baseball talk that doesn't flinch, tap in with us Monday nights at 8 Eastern.
It's the Rusty Mitt MLB edition of the Not Move podcast. Breakdowns, debates, all the swings and misses without the fake fluff.
Join us live or catch the replay wherever you get your pods. Rusty Mitt, not moved. Stay not moved.
Attention Not Move Nation. Our first ever jersey has landed. The NMP by JB Sport Talk collab brings premium mesh, bold gold accents, and that undeniable game day energy. Plus, hoodie drop.
Today's episode of Not Moved is brought to you by Open Goal, the world's #1 backyard goal. If you love soccer but hate chasing balls into the neighbor's yard, this thing is a game changer. Its rebound net sends missed shots right back to you, and the side nets keep your landscaping and your windows safe. It's perfect for kids, for training, or just having fun.
Today's episode of the Not Move podcast is brought to you by Walmart.com. With our storefront in the Walmart app, you can get everything you need. Pick up or have it delivered.
We ordered dinner while recording, and it showed up before we wrapped.
Better good sweet corn and burrata ravioli.
Nuri protein drinks, even St. Patrick's Day treats.
Walmart.com.
Not Move, fam. Southgate edition just landed, and it's fire. Check the tee. Watch out for the skis and the wickets. Hockey stick, cricket wickets, all vibes. We got hoodies, mugs, caps, beanies, whatever you need. Cop yours before they...
At the Not Move podcast, just drop the gear.
Heavyweight hoodies, premium cotton, street ready.
Caps, mugs, and more. Every detail on point.
Whether you're hooping, tailgating, or just repping the pod, NMP fits the culture.
Limited drops. When they're gone, they're gone.
Cop yours today at notmoveshop.fourthwall.com.
Everybody, welcome back. Thanks for hanging with us. So let's talk about your team and their series right now, where you are up 2-0 in two of the weirder games that I have watched in this playoffs. I can't believe the Kings have kept it only 2-1 both games. What do you think's going on? Because you guys look a lot better on the ice from the games that I saw than what the score is dictating.
Yeah, I just, essentially I thought, we're going to just destroy this team. But, this series has been a lot tighter than to be expected, and it's been a defensive battle. The Kings are really, showing that they can play with us, I think the biggest factor up to this point has been our goaltending. Wedgwood held the Kings to just one goal in each of the first two games, and he's playing stellar. So, I mean, that's kind of what we're going to need, Grem, when McKinnon and McCarr and some of these big names aren't really scoring at will. We're going to need our goalie to step it up, and he's done a great job over these last two games.
Yeah, I know our buddy Southgate, who liked to tease a little bit about what was going on with the Woods on your team. Wedgwood seemed to be showing up, right now as it stands. It's crazy to say this, but he has a .94 goals against average in the playoffs in two games. And then his save percentage is 96. So he's just, you talk about answering all those questions and then some. Yeah, I'd say so.
Yep, just a few things I got to hit on. Did you see the glass incident?
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
Let me tell you, man, I work with glass, right? And that glass falling on that coach, I know for a fact he was very itchy for the rest of that game, and he probably had a couple cuts here and there because glass is unforgiving, and that fell right on him. That could have been really bad. I'm just telling you right now.
Yeah, it didn't look friendly, especially afterwards. You could see how agitated his face was. He was ticked off. And then I bet those fans, too, who were smacking that and caused that to happen, might have been doing this the rest of the game, itchy hands, looking for It
Yeah, Glass is unforgiving, man. I'm telling you, there was no way that he felt that when that you don't just have big chunks of glass fall on you and you don't feel that. It's not fun. I've had it happen, Graham. It's not fun.
No, that was insane. I couldn't believe it. And I do want to talk about the second game that went to overtime, right?
Hmm.
First off, the first two periods were knockdown drag out between both of you. Both teams, you guys had a little bit better quality chances, in my opinion, but the Kings weren't stopping. And then comes that third period where, I love Gabriel Landeskog. He's one of my favorite players. I especially seeing him come back from what he suffered and how
Right.
successfully he's been able to come back. He does what he does best and ties it up in the third,
Yeah,
late in the third.
you don't get that captain's patch for just looking pretty. Let me tell you that, especially when you have Kel McCarr and Nathan McKinnon on your team, right?
Right.
He wears that seat proudly, and he showed out last night. We That was a much needed goal. I was stressing it, man. I think what the big factor has been is the depth favors the Avalanche, right? We're just the deeper team, you know. Panarin has been impressive, though. I have to say, he is a damn good player. I'm watching him, these last two games, and I'm like, it's a damn good player, man.
Yeah, I know. With Panarin, I've always marveled at how he is in the playoffs. He
Right.
at certain times he steps it up and he can be an elite scorer. He can
Yeah.
be an elite point getter, and
Yeah.
he's doing that for them. And especially you look across the board, he's the only one who scored the two goals, whereas your Avalanche, every goal has been from a different goal scorer.
Yeah, exactly. We had the Wah with that big trade. He came up big. He came up big last night in overtime. The one big thing that I've noticed, right? The Avalanche are 17-2 when they're up 2-0 in a series. So I can take a slight breath. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
That definitely favors my team, but we're we can't be coming out flat like this. We can't be having these defensive battles when we're playing a Dallas or a Minnesota. You know what I mean? We definitely it's okay, right? First
Yeah.
round, we can come out a little stagnant, a little stale, a little slow, but once we start getting into the thick of things, that's when we're really gonna have to pick it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also too, one thing I'm not trying to throw any dislike towards the LA fan base, but the heavier crowd is in Colorado, right? They're going to leave a home friendly crowd, and while LA in the past has had their fans be a little bit loud, it's not going to be like Colorado going into Detroit in the late '90s and early 2000s. It's not going to
Right.
be like Colorado going into Dallas or Minnesota currently.
Right.
It's going to be a little bit easier of an atmosphere, in my opinion, for them. So, and I think Colorado is going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, again, I'm not really concerned. Being up 2-0 in a series, I could be, it's a lot different than being down 0-2 or 1-1. We did what we had to do. We had to defend home ice. So it doesn't have to be pretty all the time.
No, it certainly doesn't have to be pretty. And Flyers have tied it up 1-1 with 14:42 left in the period. So, second period, 1-1 tie game. Like I said, this Flyers team's got some youth, man. So, we're going to move on to the final Western Conference series that we're going to discuss here today, which is the Dallas Stars and Minnesota Wild. And what a wild first game for the Wild, huh? He trained 6-1. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, Minnesota they dominated right the opener. With a franchise record of 6 goals. That was a franchise record. So, that says a lot when you start out that way.
Yeah, and I think what I noticed a lot about Minnesota was the defense taking over in that first game. I really
Right.
like Minnesota's defense. We talked about this before. This is a team that's very deep there, and they used that in the first game. Whereas the second game, things just didn't bounce their way at all.
Right. Yeah. Wyatt Johnson responded in a big game too with 2 goals. That was the big thing. Now that the series is tied 1-1. Ottinger went back to being an elite goalie in game 2. Right. He's
Yeah.
back to being that elite guy.
Yeah, and that's the thing, we got to think about the last thing that Gallant left on or DeBoer left on when he was there was not believing in Jake Ottinger in the
Yep.
playoffs. That's the last note he left on. So I'm sure Jake Ottinger probably has something in his backside to get out that he wants to prove for everyone as well.
Yep.
I just now this is swinging back to Minnesota, who does have a good home crowd. They have a good home ice crowd, and I think Minnesota's going to take advantage of this. And A Train, I said in the beginning, you and I both, we didn't know how to really judge this series. Like we thought Dallas was going to win, but we weren't quite sure with what Minnesota had, what they were going to bring to the table this year. I'm not so sure that I'm not so sure Dallas is going to win this still. I'm still unsure after watching these first two games. I feel like if those couple bad bounces don't happen for Minnesota in their last game, we might be talking about it differently.
Yeah, this has been a high octane matchup for power plays. Kaprizov and Boldy, really love those two players. They've been, electric for Minnesota. And the guys that are really going to have to step up for Dallas, I believe, are going to be Robertson and Johnston. Those are the two guys that are definitely going to have to step up for the Stars. The Wild's penalty kill is going to have to be strong, though. I feel like,
Yeah.
I think that could be the determining factor. And a player I want you to watch, heading into the next game is that goalie, Wallstead. He's going to might be the key factor in this matchup.
I do like Wallstead.
Yep.
Wild are lucky they're deep at goalie. So in
Mhm.
case Gustafson is still a decent goaltender, one guy I'm looking for to step up though is Thomas Harley for the Stars.
Yeah.
I don't think he's played necessarily bad. I just don't think he's playing as good as he should be in the playoffs, especially given all the kind of hype when they onboarded him before. So that's who I'm looking at. But overall, A Train, this next game is going to be coming up between them. So this is going to be very interesting to see if the Wild are able to take control. And that game is going to be tonight at 9:30 p.m. So we'll
Yep.
hurry up and carry on to the next Eastern series here. Buffalo and Boston. Wow, what a first two games.
Yep. But game one, Buffalo took the game late, right, with that epic
Mhm.
third period rally. That was something electric to watch, right?
It was.
Wasn't it? Right. And then, Boston just fell apart after having a 3-1 lead in under 8 minutes. That's a major fucking choke job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't expect that. I'm kind of glad. I'm rooting for Buffalo. I have to say, I would like to see Buffalo get past.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Tage Thompson, our guy, player profile with Bro, scored twice, in that third, which was the deciding factor in that first game. Buffalo outshot Boston in game one, and it really showed. You know what I mean?
yeah, they did. And game two, man, did Boston turn it around, huh? Three goals, second period, dominated the second period. I watched that game. The first period was a lot of back and forth action. Buffalo didn't quite take advantage, but Boston's also been dangerous on the power play, as
Yeah.
shown in that second game, right? With Zacha's or Zaka, I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. His power play goal.
Yeah. Game two, huge response by the Bruins. They tightened up defensively and they leaned on their second line production. And that's what they really needed to do to, get this series turned back around. Maybe it was the Josh Allen factor. Did you see him there at the game?
Yeah, I did. I
Yeah,
saw him getting into it.
Allen doesn't fare too well, in postseason. So I don't know if it's maybe he cursed him by showing up and hitting the drum.
Yeah, maybe. I was thinking that too. Uh, we'll save that for our football pods, Buffalo fans. I'm not too confident for your football season coming up, but yeah, Josh Allen comes in, does the typical, "Hey guys, let's do it." Curse.
Cursed. They're cursed, man. I want to see him. I really do hope the best for him. But Boston, this is the thing now, right? Boston has been dominant at home this season, Graham. This is a
Yeah.
worry for Buffalo, Bro, and Buffalo, right? So Buffalo better not come back flat, or this is going to be a problem. And especially since Boston's the more experienced team, Buffalo, has the young, crafty players, and inexperienced. So, that's going to be this is going to be an exciting series to watch. So then game three is going to tell us a lot.
Yep, and that one is going to be coming up here tomorrow, I believe. And so, yeah, we'll see that game tomorrow at 7 p.m. Now, our last series is the most exciting one as well. I think these last two probably had a lot of exciting hockey amongst them. It's the Canadians and Tampa Bay Lightning. First game, watch out for the skis, boys, because they like to come play when the tournaments matter the most, don't they? Yurov Slavkovsky, fresh off of once again proving that he likes to dominate in the Olympics in big pressure play. Hey, why don't we come down and have a Hattie in game one?
That hat trick, right? Yeah. Yeah, watch out for the skis. One thing that he had to watch out for was that Victor Hedman punch though. He definitely had to watch out for that, and he didn't have his head on a swivel, and he caught him clean, man.
Yeah, he did.
That was all over all my feeds, all over all my reels. I'm like, oh man, everyone's watching that everywhere, So I mean, one guy gets the hat trick, but then gets socked in the face. But that's playoff hockey. That's
Right.
why we're here, and that's why we love this shit, right? Series is
Right.
going to be highly competitive, right, Graham?
There's no backing down. These youngsters, especially, Martin St. Louis is
Mm.
sitting there just salivating at beating this franchise, being the former player that took them to the
Yeah.
promised land, got them that first cup. And look at him now. He's taking advantage. Slavkovsky, of course, but then game two, you know, that one goes to Tampa Bay. And look who takes advantage, though. It's some of the older crowd there. Hagel got back involved.
Yep.
Gunsel got back involved. Cooch got back involved.
Yep. Montreal's power play was lethal in the first game, Graham. But the Lightning tightened up in game two and, avoided undisciplined penalties. And I think that was the big thing that I saw the difference between game one and game two is Tampa Bay didn't get into those stupid penalties. And that's the thing that's going to just, hinder you, especially when you're playing a damn good team and, you're making stupid mistakes, I don't know if you saw, but Victor Hedman is doubtful for the rest of this first
Yep.
round. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did, unfortunately. Whatever it is, I hope he's able to get back for that. The next game is Friday at 7 for these two for game three.
Yep. Both are playing very chippy. This is going to be a scrappy, setting the tone for a long, grueling series, Graham. I'm really looking forward to these two teams just beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, me too. One player I do want to see more from is the young guy Demidov
Yep.
from the Canadians. He's been quiet. He's had an assist, yes, but I think he's been a lot more quiet. Like last night, we got to see Hudson show out, or last game got to see Hudson show out a little bit with that one power play goal he had.
Yeah.
So I want to see more from him. And then with Tampa Bay, Jake Gutsel's got to get on the scoreboard.
Yep.
He's got to start scoring goals if they want to be more competitive. But I'm looking forward to the series just like you. And I know that if anybody wants to look forward to getting some cool merch like what A Train is rocking right there, look at that sweet shirt. Good quality stuff. He's got his hat. I've got my hat, which, by the way, if you come to the NFL draft tomorrow in Pittsburgh, I will see you there. I'll be wearing this very hat, repping the Not Move podcast. A Train's going to be on the Not Move podcast with the rest of our guys here, with the rest of our people. You might see Joe's on there, Bags, Coach Common, JB, the man in the booth running things. We've got all good people, Robert, Jimmy. We got a good crowd here bringing you good things. Hopefully, you were paying attention to the ad in the middle there. Good shows. Ringside Rewind with Robert, Zip. Those guys have been doing some great
Hey,
stuff.
so
A Train was on there too.
yeah, so big news. Swerve Strickland, and AEW champion, right? This guy's big. He's big for the all elite wrestling. He is actually going to do an interview with me, Zip Zap, and Robert. So he is going to be the biggest star, wrestling star that we've had the opportunity to interview. So that is a huge thing coming for Ringside Rewind. So we're really excited about that. We pulled a big time player in the wrestling biz. So look out for that. And again, like you were saying, Graham, we have the draft show, spectacular tomorrow, right? So, you're going to have random guys, random girls from NMP. We're going to be bringing in people here and there, and we're going to be breaking down the draft and talking about who's getting what, trades. We're breaking down everything that has to do with the NFL draft. Well, you will be there in person, which is super cool, Graham. I'm happy for you.
I'm going to be there in person, hopefully being able to bring some live stuff to the podcast. I know they're restricting some people bringing recording devices besides phones in. So I will have my phone, but as JB, like I said, man, in the booth announced just now, Alfred Fields will be on the podcast. So for the draft, look at that, folks. Like we're doing, not move. We're doing big things. We're
Doing big
staying up,
things.
moved, and making big things happen. So
Yes,
stick with
sir.
us. Thank you for joining us tonight. We will be back next week to cover more playoff hockey. Stay not moved, everybody.
Not moved. NMP.
This non-casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Move Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.